everyone, Social Free State from socialfreestate.com here. Um, I'm just responding to my video yesterday. Yesterday I posted a video and I was saying that unfortunately I wasn't able to take a job which I was offered, which was a trainee solicitor or trainee lawyer, and that was because of the commute. And I had been offered that job because I'd self-represented after being raped by a migrant, and I had won my case. And they were very impressed and they offered me a job. The job is in a city area, and it would be a about a three, possibly a 4 hour journey each day. Yeah, a round trip, and I don't really want to do that because I'm a single mother and I want to be around for my little boy. And also, some people asked why wouldn't I move closer, which is a good question to ask, and it's something that I didn't discuss on the video. So my son's dad already has to travel to see him and to pick him up and take him home, and I wouldn't want to extend that journey for either of them because I don't think that it's particularly fair to do that. So that's one of the reasons. Another reason is because it is a large firm, it is in a city area, and I don't really, well, okay, I don't want to be dealing with people in city areas, predominantly because they are diverse people. I am still very fearful about being around Asian people. Whenever I see a woman with a hijab on, I feel terrified. I start feeling incredibly anxious just because on the basis that she's around her family, obviously. I would imagine she's not here on her own, and her family have these expectations that women should cover their hair and all this sort of stuff, and my mind just starts freaking out, and I don't want to be around women who are wearing hijabs or anything worse. I can't stand it, and obviously I've asked for therapy to deal with these huge fears. I have incredible fears of these people. I can't even begin to explain how deep these fears run, and I haven't received that help. However, our government still manages to afford to bring over more and more migrants each year. They just can't afford to deal with the consequences of it. So I don't want to be around in a city area where I'm around these people because I am so fearful. Even the women create a lot of fear for me because if there's women around of that culture or of that race, then there's certainly men around. And I know how politically incorrect it is, but I do rationalize that with the fact that if I had been raped by a white man and I said, I'm fearful of white men, then I would have got a lot of understanding. Um, People would say, yeah, we hate white men. So it seems to be the case. However, I'm also very aware that I have wonderful white men in my family, so I suppose that's a starting point. So I don't really want to be moving to these sorts of areas. I don't want to be at risk of working around these types of people. And I know that also in these different cultures, they come across, in my opinion at least, as more aggressive than what British people do. British people seem to be able to put a lid on their frustrations and act with at least a facade of politeness. That's not the case with these different cultures, and I find them even more terrifying having been through a rape by having been raped by one of these people. I don't want to be around them. I really don't want to be around them, and I don't want to be in an area like a city or the urban suburbs or urban areas where I have been. I Oh, no, I'm terrified. Even where I live now, I'm seeing a lot more women with hijabs, and oh, it terrifies me. I don't want them here, and I feel sad because I'm sure that they're nice enough women, but I don't like the fact that they wear hijabs because it makes me look as if I am right for rape, with regards to their male um, family members and what have you. They're setting an example of what should be raped or the type of woman who should be raped, as far as I'm concerned. So I don't feel safe around hijabbed women or worse. So yeah, I suppose this is me pouring out my fears with regards to being in a city. I would far rather be in a rural area. Um, I I understand that, I recognise that what I've done is really good, and what I've been offered is an incredible opportunity. But I haven't, with that opportunity, I haven't had the opportunity or received the opportunity to discuss my fears with a therapist. So I'm still stuck in a situation where I am feeling incredible fear of certain types of people, and that applies for men and women, of those types of women, and that race. Um, so I understand the money that I would be making, but I don't want to deal with those people. And I'm very aware that that's offensive to some people, and you're just going to have to cope with it, because as the rapes start getting more frequent and um, more prominent, this is going to be a typical fear and phobia of many people, I'm sure. And it's only going to get worse because people aren't talking about it. The authorities are not discussing it. Also, I've been watching a lot of videos about white flight, and I suppose I'm one of those people. I would love to be living in a white area or predominantly white area. Now, the reason being is not because I don't believe that white people don't commit crimes, because I know that they do. The reason being is because we live in this sort of equality society now where we can't over target minority groups. And that means that what happened to me when I was walking home and the man was acting incredibly aggressive towards me, and the police looked and just drove on without approaching him or us and trying to prevent this crime from happening. We have legislation in place to ensure that we meet targets of diversity and equality. So that means the police can't do their job. So if I live in a predominantly white area, the logic there stands that police won't mind preventing a crime from happening, and I'm all for that. And that's the kind of thing that I want to see. I want to see the police do their job and prevent certain crimes from happening. And if they have preventatives from preventing them doing their job because they have to meet diversity targets and equality targets, then I don't want to live in those areas. I want to move out. So rural is where I want to live. And yeah, so I suppose that's a huge deal, which isn't something which I talk about much, because I'm aware of how offensive it is for me to say this, and yeah, I mean it is a very real fear, and I don't feel that I should feel guilty about feeling that, because I've been through an awful lot at the hands of certain types of people, and they've got away with it because they are certain types of people. They were allowed to do it. They were enabled to do it because because he was a certain type of person. So that's my anger with what's going on at the moment, and that's why I don't really want to move. Well, I definitely don't want to move to a city. Um, and I'm going to try with all my might to avoid doing that. Uh, as regards to what videos I'm going to do next, I kind of feel that because I haven't won the case and it's still ongoing, then what I had planned to do was talk about how I had won the case and what challenges they provided and how I argued them. But since I still haven't won the case and it's still ongoing, I can't do that because I don't know whether I have won yet. So what I'm going to do instead is talk about the cognitive behavioral therapy which I underwent after I was raped. I did have some therapy, but it wasn't due to my fear of Asian people, and it's instead um, to do with self-esteem. So I thought that that's sort of a rounded problem which many people are struggling with, and I have a book on it. So I thought that I would just go over some of the issues which I had, why I struggle and or did struggle with self-esteem, and hopefully it will help other people who are also dealing with self-esteem issues, because I'm certain that there's many of us these days who do, especially in this diverse society, because we are more prone to being judged if we say the wrong thing more than ever now. So I'll go over some of those things which I think will be useful for other people, and make some suggestions of the book which I used, which I found particularly helpful, and I'll explain as to why I got to that point as well. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, please like, subscribe, and share. I don't want to focus too much on politics at the moment because I do find it incredibly depressing, and I want to steer clear of that kind of low mood at the moment. I want to just try and focus on this battle which I still have to go. So I'm going to try and avoid politics, but try and provide solutions with my videos. And I hope that suits you all. Okay, so thank you. Please like and subscribe. Bye.